Yes? What do you want to know? Good.
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. The belt is still around his neck. His body is supine and open to intrusion by autopsy. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Muindi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Et puis descend, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity. I mean when I need you to. Until then, I should handle physical contact, and you should take notes. In your paperwork, officer, just fill out the field autopsy form. You've lost your paperwork, haven't you?
Fucking runkari! He's afraid to say it!
Man up, pig! You're embarrassing, Kuno.
Somewhere else?
Now they only have one paperwork too!
Officer, what haven't you lost? Yes, barely. I can give you my paperwork. There's an autopsy form there. Several, actually, but only if it helps move things along. Right. The autopsy form is near the end.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with,
That's you.
the corpse lies there, indifferent to your retrograde amnesia.
KK57. Next. NA. Next. NA. Roughly 50.
The corpse looks ageless, like meat on a hook. Teeming with opportunistic microorganisms, letting out a foul-smelling diamine compound. Your eyes turn watery.
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Muindi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish. The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything.
Fucky fucky!
Male.
Pigs can have sex!
nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
We're still going with March 4th. 50. What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
None. At least not after the initial examination. Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem. They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dogwalkers.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosencrantz Row. Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than a monkey. It's raining outside, light drizzle. There is darkness in the shed. Elsewhere yet, an obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette bull-like against the window. Outside, Grand Coudon. The day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Dawson. Hand extended, he approaches, to make sure she is dead more than anything else. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons found today, 42 stations of breath.
We should start the post-mortem.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why. You find a moment as the lieutenant inspects the dead man's fingernails. Just a few glances. The page. Still, you can make out a case with a curious title. The Man with the Hole in His Head. It's very hard to draw conclusions. All you can make out is that he is in a hurry to solve the case. The tempo of the handwriting says as much, and that there are a lot of notes in there. Most of them are made prior to arriving at the scene, in preparation. Odd, there doesn't seem to be much about you in his notes, as if you aren't the sun around which the world revolves. This appears to be a case investigated about 3 weeks ago. A workplace accident. The titular character's wife tries to get compensation. The company was not forthcoming.
What? Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodin, I think. Let's see.
See, it's
Babrodin, yes. Inexpensive. Size M.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was
The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing. The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alpha. Tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters, generally consistent with age, about 50. Preservation is good. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
the hair under your latex fingers feels cold to touch, wet.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs, consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation. Ligature mark. The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the bell so we can...
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Always good to think ahead. Now... we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come loose. After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact.
No! It's gonna happen, see!
I fucking knew it!
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury. Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin. Last item, hands. Hands are clean, no sign of a recent struggle. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment. Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next? Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on the...
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
What would that be?
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer. Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Respiratory system. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen, hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again. It's hard. Once more, you taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. A contraction. Your throat pumps a little. Inside, you see darkness. Mute silence as always.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus. Hepatobiliary, Na. Same for toxicology and serology, Na. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits lividity in the lower extremities, feet, hands, and neck. Gastrointestinal. Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila. What's next on the list? Let's see. We have Bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
Be thorough if you want maximum results.
Head, chest and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer? Agreed. Next injury? So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory.
At maximum.
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
Right. Next. Nothing. Just in case. A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of claw.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side, the ring around his neck. Think for a moment. There's time. Don't rush.
That's it. We have established cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over. Now we put him in a body bag, and I drive him to Forborg.
The lieutenant looks at the dead man one more. You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse.
I'm gone. Into the wild pale yonder. In the past. Way out in the west. I'm a joke. Look at me. A killer. A motherfucker. Go ahead, Gobbo. What do you mean? It's the power of your imagination. Go ahead. Ask me more questions. Because you're a copperoonie. Look at all of them go. Coming right up, copperoonie, Rooney. This is getting upbeat now. Love did me in, Brother Copo. It was love all along. Sure, Lobo. I can ask you a question. Looking at my face, motionless, looking into my eyes, standing here. Why are you investigating my murder? I am all you have. Then you truly lost it all, brother. Let the world drag it all away from you. And what it left, you pissed away. And here we are. Lobo, looking at my face, motionless, looking into my eyes, standing here. Why are you investigating my murder? Ha!
The clown lips on the corpse appear to smile. Something is on its way. Something hidden. It's coming. A miracle from the northwest, and it's almost here. You can feel it in the air, on your hands. The cold spring air smoothing them over.
Huh? You're misquoting me, Rooney. I said communism killed me. Love did me in. Fuck no. You're no Rooney. Between you and me, your name is probably... You can be anything you want, brother Corpo. Because you have. Do I remind you of someone?
A child born with Muller's disease, harlequinism, grown up miraculously.
You sure we got out of that one, Coppellini? Do I
A child born with Muller's disease, harlequinism, grown...
Sure I do. You just don't want to admit it. Do I...
A child born with...
There you go. Look at that bright kid. We're birds of a feather, you and I. Soon you will be just like me. Just keep drinking and having a good time. It's a matter of weeks.
Feeling nausea, vomiting, tenderness or pain around the liver area, tiny red lines on the skin above waist level, more like days, Coppo. The clock is ticking. Your liver tells you so.
In the past, way out in the west. Come Come back later, Corpo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also, see me in your dreams. Shoot, Looney Rooney. Come back later, Corpo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also.
You run your hands over the victim's cold body, his limbs, his torso with its swollen organs. Maybe you should be more. You pull down his breeches. Marbling is present around the crotch. The penis has shrunk.
Can't get enough of that dick.
Do you think we missed something? Okay, well, we are in livor mortis here. He is disintegrating. We need to refrigerate the body if we want to conduct another examination, and we need to do it fast. If you want for this task to slowly become impossible, then yes. Otherwise, it would have to be industrial in size. Let's start by asking Gart at the Whirling in Rags and the Fritz store down at the gates. If they don't know, but only if all else fails.
Fuck are you looking at, Beano man? You want a piece of the Kuno? Wanna get fucked?
Only if all else fails. This is one task we cannot sideline. With every hour, whatever we are looking for will become harder to find. Yes? What do you want to know? Good. Yes?
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open. Are you interested in a new and exciting book? It's a bookstore, sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games. It's called Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold your horses, little girl. You're fooling nobody.
Sir, are you okay? You've been standing here silently for a while now. Okay, sir, I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books. A fridge? You mean like the ice bear fridge?
Ice bear fridge?
Yes, like a bear but white. There's a fridge below the building in the basement with red glowing eyes. I went back there once, behind the bookstore. Mum doesn't want me to go there anymore. Not that I want to. It was pretty scary. Yes. That's a problem. The only way in is through the bookstore, but my mum is pretty strict about not letting anyone in. But I don't know, you're a policeman. Maybe you can convince her somehow. Anyway. My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. She's inside minding the register or organising the stock. Feel free to step in and browse our wares. I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance and biographies of famous people. Oh no, sir. I'm happy to help Mum by luring in customers. Besides, I have some hot juice in my vacuum bottle to keep warm. I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running. Mum says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. Mum says
There is stress and unease behind these words.
Mum says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being cursed. Cursed in the way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go... Exactly, but we've been doing fine so far.
We can go into the bookstore and ask about the case, but I don't see much more.
Yes. Please do also look at our wares inside. The postcards and board games are there, sir.
It does not manifest itself in any way. It does not exist. I liked it better when we were talking about whether it's a no such thing.
Anything else you wanted to talk about, sir? Nothing really, sir. Mum doesn't allow me to sneak around in the back rooms or the cellar. I don't really know. Maybe I can tell you about some of our books instead.
welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People. Be welcome, and please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space. I am the proudest owner of our little shop of culture. Annette, yes, my daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Tell me, was she at her post doing her job like a proper girl? Wonderful! Did you talk to her? Great! On a scale of 1 to 10, how compelled were you to buy books after talking with her? My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. If you have children, I hope they turn out as great as my Annette. Mind your own business, sir. In our society, people don't get to tell each other how to raise their children. It's none of your or...
The woman before you scans the store, her shoulders rigid and tense. Every now and then, she nudges her glasses.
A fridge? No, I don't know anything about a fridge. Aren't you interested?
For whatever reason, she's lying to you about the fridge. Seems like you have to find your own way to the cellar.
Cursed? Who said that? Annette? I will have a word with her. This place is not cursed. It has a robustly magnetic energy. Good for commercial activity. My business is thriving, sir. Then why are you talking to me? Everything is on the shelves to browse. Don't you feel compelled to buy anything? See those shelves there? Go, be drawn. Everything is on the shelves. Take a look yourself. The shelves compel you, don't they?
She smiles and nods, seemingly relieved. You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. A strange cage-like trinket dangles from the curtains.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only.
You see some kind of charm, an irregular polyhedron assembled from bones, sticks, and straw. Inside, A disturbing fish head with empty eye sockets stares at you. This is a traditional Seminese ward, meant to provide protection against ill luck, bad dreams, curses, and other inhabitants of Ile de Fantôme. Aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing else to do with the fish head charm at this time. The curtains remain shut before you. Just as you're about to pull apart the curtains, the petrified...
Sir, don't touch that. I told you it's off limits for the customers. Parapsychologically speaking, we're done if you decide to open them. I won't be held responsible.
She looks away, mumbling. Why is everyone always messing with the curtains? Why can't they just buy books like normal people?
Why? It's not like anyone was killed there. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so impolite. Just please don't...
The curtains do seem frail suddenly, not robust enough to contain a slippery darkness.
You do? My God. Even more reasons not to mess with the curtains. Just step away, dear sir. No, it's just a storeroom for the employees, I told you. Now please step away from the curtains. Thank you. Let's just talk about this first, all right?
The curtains, tattered with age and covered in dust, hang before you, as if taunting you.
Nothing. Why aren't you browsing the books?
She speaks almost as if she's trying to put a spell. Oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alluring they become. You see a dimly lit room full of dusty furniture and trash. A doorway stands in the back, covered in dozens of scary little Seminese wards, your shadow looming over it like an omen.
I warned you. You're unleashing force. I wasn't kidding when I said we're parapsychologically done. You clearly don't care about the consequences. What gives you the right? Don't expect my help from now on. The back door is locked and I threw away the key. I won't trifle with such... Do look at the books, though. The books compel you. You may be able to make up for this by buying a lot of books. I hope you're a voracious reader. Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Seminese trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked. Only an echo, a hollowed-out dark echo.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and
Hello again, sir.
there, Piggo. The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance.
The streets will not flow red with anything.
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C. And here I was trying to be polite. Just can't win with you pigs. I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko.
The lieutenant furrows his brow at another one of your eccentricisms. Hatred, disgust, it's difficult to tell which of the two the woman on the boat does not notice her stare.
That Ozon whore. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Ozon is an archipelago 2 days' travel away from Rivershot. Its moneyed residents, used to posh restaurants and upscale boutiques, rarely have reason to visit Martinez.
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she will be very You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be...
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Impound that boat while you're at it. I'd like to watch her swim back to Ozon. Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful... I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words. Yeah? Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration will come to me now that... Watch your back, ungulate.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. I'm glad to see you here.
Like steel, there is strength there. If she wanted, she could sink her nails deep into your skin.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an...
It happens quicker than a shooting star. But did the lieutenant just wink at you?
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines. Why, yes I am. Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou.
I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor...
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands. Good. What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking. The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain. Saint-Baptiste, Elysium, an unknown entity known as Brightest Star. She nods.
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Aliments that gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus. I am glad you see it that way. To repeal the act would mean repealing the coalition government, the one that leases you the right to police West. But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike. I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place.
Wait, she just admitted that the lynching and the striker.
Now they won't even let me into the harbor. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates. What can I say? The union employs a giant covered in tattoos. A racist giant. I guess that's part of their big tent organization now. Yes, I believe there is a connection. But that's a subject for later. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I...
And when did you first?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like...
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior...
This isn't the first time the union has gone on...
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive. There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. Every worker, a member of the board. In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker, a member of the board. Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines Group makes a decision about anything, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200... Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines. They're having a blast. But how can they afford it? After 4 months, my assumption was they would prefer a more practical... I'm not sure. Naturally, I assumed that was just their opening position. A hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rag.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear?
I first heard it from the boyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out.
Mr. Clare told him to... fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the Union. Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing, of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where...
If you were to prick it with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe? No, a rapier.
He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic... Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to organize labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, Detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is... Thank you for being candid. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the wolf always hungers. The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the Union refuses to?
Don't let her answer it herself.
If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not right now, at least.
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running any.
This forewoman, her name?
Sadly, the company records do not even give a name. She's just forewoman in private correspondence, Holly. I don't even know if it's a sir or given name, and I don't have access to the union's files. Indeed. The company suspects foul play. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant, and this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge.
How curious. Why is that, Detective? I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please. Oh dear. I do believe you, naive as that may sound.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but...
Of course, I sympathize. But I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen...
She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
Of course. But before we do, officer, the situation is extremely volatile. The sooner we can speak about this lynching business, the better for all of us.
Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy, is it? Look at that lady. Take a gander. Why, yes, tucked away under that sturdy green raincoat, almost rustic in its simplicity, a silk shirt, while dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes. Red. These are the kind eyes of the rich man that seem to say, everything is possible. Now look at you, you misery-clad simian, barely able to tie your own laces. Your armpits are lakes. A scythe of booze precedes you. Your hair sticks to your forehead, and your underwear feels uncomfortable. You're poor, poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too... You think your little communism protects you from this feeling? No.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask. That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question. Better not tie the forestay to the batstay on this. I hope there is... That's the man who was killed. Better not tie the forestay to the batstay on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with. Of course,
Lonesome, long way home. Here we go. Home awaits. Walk past Station 41 and through the market, past the Boogie Street spearhead to the other side of the lake, the frozen eye at the center of the district. Then past the video rental store on the corner. There, at the end of a street lined with pine trees, a small house no larger than a matchbox, 11 Voyager Road. You no longer live there. Those times are gone. And so are those people. Why did you come here? Why are you still here? And where's the dealer? You have to get back to work.
G'day to you, officers.
A burly man hangs out by the waterlock, carving up a generous serving of salami with an old hunter's knife. His eyes are fixed on a man stranded on the other side of the waterlock and on an enormous billboard that has fallen down into the canal between them. A crumpled billboard reading, "Samaran butter soaks in the canal." Two ugly lines mar the bright countenance of the blonde boy depicted. The sign billboard has fallen on the waterlock, keeping it open, and thus out of order. Just some tasteless advertising at the bottom of a canal. No use rubbernecking now. There are clothes inside. Cheap second-hand
Don't be shy. These are premium class clothes. Good quality fabrics, best retro design. Save the economy with your style, officer.
You find your hands deep in tattered and faded garments made from weird polyester blends. The box smells like cat piss or like an old person.
Economical, but also trendy. Look first-hand, buy second-hand. Keep the economy moving.
Something cold grazes your hand. Synthetic and sleek. A windbreaker. Surf, it says, but also wind, summer, 100%.
Good choice, officer. Mega sporty. And it's only $4.50 for you, sir.
Bastards! We have a right to work!
Scan? US scan now.
Nobody betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
You have succumbed to Al-Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al-Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick.
It's not good.
It's like a rat crawled into your stomach, got drunk and drowned.
Your mouth moves, but the one who speaks is Al-Ghul. You Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving orders around here. The influence of the ham sandwich race is reigning. Begging for help. attempting to pass fear for cooperation. How far the Occidental haplogroup has fallen. You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war like missiles and you dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Khoikos. You will be superseded. Isn't that right?
It is, baby, yeah. You know it.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
Enough with this begging. You should leave the stage of history with dignity. Bring your troops to the Simonine Islands and to Boogie Street, and we will pulverize you. When you are gone, we will build... The walls will be lined with bottles of Al Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality you call art, and your microcephalic skulls. Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deeper than that. Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront and also to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to your race failure. It is lax and moronic. Idiotic communism is the single greatest contributor to your race descent. Everywhere around you, the fruits of its failure to challenge the world order. Individual, above all, rampant multinational finance still reigning large. Tell me, where have you gotten your love of pathetic communism from? Degenerate youth culture? Rock and roll music? Rock and roll is moribund. Only Khoikos listen to it anymore. There is no life left in it. My people abandoned it long ago. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products. The South Island race, haplogroup A4A. We are the rightful masters of the Insulindian archipelago. We descend from the Areopagites of ancient Pericarnassus and arrived here 4,000 years ago. Millennia before you. We are the future. That is all you need to know. I am a descendant. The narrow streets of Ulimbuir are with me in my genetic dreams. I see young Simonese women walk into the grey mass on Ile de Fantôme, waiting on immaculate conception from the pale. Good.
I think this racist is better than the last, but the next racist will be the really good one.
That will be the...
He will grant us 3 wishes.
Your pedomorphic friend has quick wits. a protruding occiput, and an indented zygomatic bone.
The lieutenant does not flinch.
You should keep him close. The congenital defect of farsightedness does not render him a complete invalid. He still has the use of his mind.
Ask what kind of races there are first. Classification is core to this stuff.
Do you?
The lieutenant looks toward the harbor's electronic door, and then...
You are obviously a liberal, Sayerite. A polyculturalist. I can see it from your love of microtechnology and your sartorial. There are 3 categories of race. Type A, the heroic races. Type B, the servile races. And the vile CF race cauldron of pederasty. Which one do you need education on? Those are the Simonese, the Areopagite, and the Occidentals, excluding the Maun, of course. The Maun are riddled with eczema to the point where they find it impossible to smile. They are all lactose intolerant. A receding genetic pool has led the Maun on reprehensible street parades. In Maun cities like Stadskanal and Vredefort, wearing wooden clogs on their feet and little green tassels on their hats. The Vespertines and Messenians of Vesper and Messina, the ancient Meteorans of Meteo by the golden Pisantic Sea, the Suren of Sur-la-Clé, and even the North Königsteiners, all have type A. The other large mondial civilization, the Mesk, are too yellow and oleaginous to count as a heroic race. True, they are violent and expansionist, but they have a glandular problem. Overproduction of sebum. Sebum is leaking into their brains, making them listen to El Mariachi music and eat toxic minced meat, as proven by the Maun and the Mesk. Occidental type A is in retrograde. The Simonese and the Areopagite are on the ascent. The indigenous people of this, the Insulindian archipelago. The Simonese inhabit the southern islands. I am Simonese, from the stock of Ulemuir on Ile de Fantôme. The Areopagites are the master race of the Ile Maran peasants. The Simonese are descendants of the Areopagites. We came here during a heroic migration from Ile Marat to Ansuland, thousands of years before the lactose intolerant. The Areopagites are sleek, long-headed. The Simonese are powerful, mesomorphic. The former is an immutable progenitor, unchanged since the Super Isola of Pericarnassus. Ancient brains rest in their slend. The latter is perfected and adapting. Together they form the Simeno-Areopagite, or Simeopagite super race. That is all. There are no more type A races. Type B are the unheroic races, amorphous non-competitors of the great race. The Khoikos and the Vacholier, they are mud-colored. To an untrained eye, the Khoiko appear white and pinkish, like a ham sandwich. But look into their eyes and you will see. They are of an indistinct muddy color, and so is their skin. Pinkness is a racial quality that has to be earned through centuries of advanced ballistic warfare and cultural domination that the Grad people have undergone for drinking alcohol and smoking the degenerate tobacco and for eating potato. The Khoikhoi, the countless micronationalities of Grad, are all inexplicably obsessed with potard. The only thing they like more is dividing into microscopic ethnostates, like political amoeba. The Vasholians, halfway between Type A and the racial cauldron. Two mixed to know right from wrong. You tried your degenerate little revolution, which was the single greatest failure.
Is it 82,000 years that we've been recording history? You have very little idea of what is happening, but that seems a little off.
The revolution came to Ravachol from Grad, in Zarath-ridden potato carts. It is literally an illness, a prion disease that leaves the parietal and frontal lobe ridden with holes. A soft, sponge-like mass of dementia, hallucination, and paranoia. The revolution is fatal familial insomnia. A hereditary prion condition passed from the Khoikhoi to the Occidentals. But not sexually. Enough of Type mediocrity. Types CF are a museum of failed chimeric experiments and tragic maladaptations. They are tortured creatures waiting to be lesser races like the mosquito, a grotesque mixture of a masked woman and a Seminese man. Only possible if the mother is... The mosquito is born sterile, like a donkey. All they have left is to ride customized motor carriages with hydraulic suspension, listening to aggressive El Mariachi music to vent their impotent despair. Then there is the Simino Koiki Chimera. Are you sure you wish to know of the Simino Koiki Chimera? The Khoikhoi, as you know, are very servile, especially when they meet the rich man. Racial scientists have. This will never happen. The Simonese and the Khoikhoi may have similar interbreeding problems as the mosquito. We will never know precisely. No Simonese man could maintain an erection in the suffocating potato stench of a Khoikhoi woman, or Khoika. But enough. It is cruel to entertain ourselves with the deformities of Type CF. Were there... You understand nothing. To solve the great race enigma, you have to first ask yourself, what is the race enigma? You have not even worded the mystery, let alone solved it. You need to internalize what you have heard here today, then return to me. This clarity does not come. I cannot possibly imagine what else we have to discuss, Tipere Vasholian. Your love for disco music and venereal disease?
Trying to sneak up on me?
Apparently, she doesn't.
Pig's come to take me out! Trying to snuff me out! Don't get fucking clever with me, pig! You think you're so clever! Trying to sneak up on me?
It's been a week and now they show up? I can't get involved in this.
must be another way into the building.
I knew I should have.
You see a young man on a balcony nursing a cigarette. His eyes have been...
Not looking for any trouble, officer. There's no trouble. I'm just speaking in a lowered... I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie, if that's okay. I just...
Don't let him go. This could be your witness. The balcony has a great view of the whole thing.
Is it really that important?
Like a nervous cat, he keeps stealing looks.
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run. I can tell that you finally got him down. Thank you. It was
What were you doing last Sunday?
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you? No, not you two. Some more muscular type.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
Last week? I don't know. Look.
You didn't answer the question.
I had a friend. It was my Sunday friend.
A Sunday friend? How intriguing. He doesn't reply, gesturing no with his cigarette. In the neighboring windows, you can see faint reflections of his silhouette, all from different angles.
My name?
Martin Martinez? Good local name. Let's go with that.
No. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
Time to bring out your secret charm. Tears and begging. Show him your emotional side. Throw yourself before his very feet like a dog.
No, for God's sake, I don't want you to cry. Listen, I really have to go. Good luck with the investigation.
He's gone. No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself. He could be a witness. Him or his Sunday friend. Either way, there has to be a way of getting inside the building. Once we found...
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building. You have no clue. It's just so many walls all over Martinez. Whether tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught. The wind is aggressive up here. The lieutenant looks at the enormous crane towering in the distance. Oh, that machine is a Kvalsund 1020 HK.
Yes, that's one way of putting it. It's certainly an impressive achievement of engineering. But I digress. We were focusing on your cloak here.
Tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing. As you leap in the air, a chilly breeze engulfs you, sharpening your senses. As the concrete floor welcomes you, you realize it's been a
Hell yeah! My climbing might not have been as disco as your jump, but...
With your feet firmly planted on the concrete,
Yes? the front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel from the sides of his head, because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. After rifling the pages with your thumb, the magazine is divided into several sections. International developments, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso of the hanged man. From the right shot, it still kind of looks like a map of the stars in the night sky. But something's not right. Gone. For you to discover. You've gotten as far as you will without assistance.
On second glance, someone has...
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this.
The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a web, hundreds of documents containing logistical data, 2 kinds of transactions, and the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol, Couron, Coal City. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry. Look how blurry all the lines on these papers are. How unwieldy your own willpower is to yourself. Hermeneutics was almost within your grasp, but now only vague letters float before your eyes. Less meaningful, but aesthetically more pleasing. The drawer slides shut. An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, "Tokens unavailable due to strike. Use change." This is the night watchman's booth. The name, listen, it's okay to take a few minutes to yourself. Sit down and have a breather.
If you must. But please hurry, we are
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously organized. It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man is young, dark-skinned, and dressed in...
Why did you take that? Fine, but let's move. I don't want to be seen snooping around here.
The chair is not as austere as the rest of the booth. A thin grey pillow is attached to the seat, secured to the stiles. You stand and exit the booth. Control panel with several knobs, 2 buttons marked Marche and Marche. On, Arrête, off. With a loud grind, the crane shifts overhead, moving a massive metal container through the air. And with a surprisingly quiet, the harbor sleeps as the strike rages in the distance. The crane can rest again. Now, the rusty control panel grows warm to the touch. A faint smell of burning rubber reaches your nostril.
I can't see how that was worth the wreckers.
No screech of metal when you push the button this time. Only sight. The crane does not return to its original. A rusting control panel. Before you stands a cargo container. Just one of many.
Is this like your thing with that wall again? You do? There are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one? Damn it, now you got me curious. We're not here to interact with containers. We are here to interview the Union boss.
No reply. The knock produces a hollow ring of metal. Doesn't sound like there's anything inside that could... You attempt to turn the handle. To your left, the lieutenant considers your actions with some puzzlement.
Container, I'll turn you.
The lyrics to this container song are being made. The accent is so thick, it's impossible not to notice he's Ubi.
Container, used to be Wild Pines. Container, now belongs to Everard. Everard, he looks after... I see you are not a Union man, mister. Did you get lost? You're not one of them scabs, are you? I mean, I don't personally mind. Folks is just folks, you know, and just some of the other guys don't look too kindly on the scabbing kind, if you know what I mean, mister. Oh yes, born and raised in Irish, mister. Mum had to leave my dad after he got a bit violent. Took us here to the new world. I was about 10 then. People say us Ubis are up to all sorts of trouble with sheep and other animals and whatnot. I just want you to know there was never any...
Thank you for clarifying that, sir.
Oh, most of the guys are down at the gates. We're on a strike. The whole union is. You don't have to work when you're on strike. Ha!
So no one is working?
Not everyone is down there, of course. Mr. Everard is in his office, where he always is. And Jean-Luc is guarding the gate. But Titus and his boys got into some drunken trouble and Everard sent them on a nice vacation. For a week or so. Oh, I'm not really supposed to talk about. Him and his boy stirred up something in town. Probably drank too much and got into a fight or something. I heard Mr. Everett telling him to take some time off. I guess the boys got a bit too rowdy and had to let out some steam. I don't really know the details. That's just how boys...
Easy, Leo. Let's keep this on the hard ease.
Too late. Leo's mouth is still moving, and the words are spewing forth. Words, words, and look. Now he's talking about some drunk sawmill owner who... No, he already switched to a prized fishing rod he apparently owned at some point. You know what? Just cut in there with your questions.
Oh, that one. That should be empty as far as I know. Lots of content.
Told you.
Oh, you want Mr. Everett then? He's an awfully nice fellow, he is. Him and his brother are both nice fellows. They've lived their entire lives in this here neighborhood. Guys like Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar, his brother, are real good guys. Made Martinez what it is today. Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar and I went to the same school we did when we were boys. Oh, Mr. Everett is where he always is. In his office, of course. Yes, yes. Everybody needs a job, and this is mine. I'm Leonard, by the way. Leonard Bellick. But everyone calls me Leo. I'm like Mr. Everett's right-hand man when Mr. Edgar is out of town. And Mr. Edgar's right-hand man would... Actually, Miss Beaufort is the right-hand man, but she's a lady.
Who is this, Miss Beaufort?
A real pretty lady with a skin like those Douai Sucre candy bars my missus likes so much. Them are real nice to suckle on once the dinner is done and me and the missus sit down beside the radio. But I can't listen to the radio all the time. There's so much to do around here and I'm always busy keeping things running here. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Yes, this place really seems to run like clockwork. Keep it up, Leo.
Well, thanks a lot. Coming from you, it means a lot, really. Sometimes I feel some of the guys don't really get how much I bust my ass for them here. But you guys are all right. Yes, yeah, I'm like Miss... Actually, Miss Beaufort...
Who is this, Miss...
A real pretty... But I can't listen to the radio all... Oh, Lizzie. She is a real sharp tool. Mr. Everett put her through some fancy school and everything, east of the river. 4 years she was gone, and when she came back, she was... But she's a real nice girl. Grew up in this here neighborhood. Knows everybody and gets along with everyone. Real pillar of the community one day, I'm sure. If me missus and me was to have a child, I'd be real happy if she turned out like her. Dr. Lemaitre said so. And she knows about such things. Been a doctor for almost 50 years, she has.
So Everett trained a lawyer named Miss Beaufort. Interesting. You see disdain in the lieutenant's dark eyes when they meet yours for...
Oh, mister. I do a lot more than that. I really do most everything around here. Mr. Everett said many times I'm irreplaceable. Oh, I'm just making some covers for them containers here. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So it's easier for the crane operators to spot them.
Everything is so pretty and red. You and Leo look like brothers as you glance around with similar childlike wonder.
Sure is, mister. Sure is. Really liven...
I had to break this bonding moment, but the red containers mean they are replacing the company livery with the union livery, which means this strike isn't gonna stop anytime soon.
Bye-bye now.
Before you is a walrus of a man seated behind a large desk. He looks up with great effort. He straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing, with a mixture of expectation and impatience, well bottled.
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat. I'm Everard Clare, head of the Debarders Union here, and I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting...
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair, on the other hand, looks like a toy.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. I'll do my best. Forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from that name.
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized...
It's nothing. Yes, that's probably right. It's nothing. Forget about it. Filter it out.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another. So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative of the Revachol Citizens Militia?
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
Oh, by the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners. It pains. This should take care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
Don't mention it. But also don't... Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union...
His slug-like lips move, but the world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only two words escape its gravitational pull. Lost and...
I know everything, Harry. Right now, I know that you're worried. Don't be worried. Everything... It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now, pointing it into their...
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Officer, we will deal with this later.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
God, you're sweating. Your knee is jerking. You're about to cry, aren't you? You're about to cry because you lost your gun and those...
Mr. Dubois, you don't look so good.
What is this, Mr. Dubois? He keeps repeating.
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry! Mr. Dubois, are you okay? Can I get you a glass?
Maybe you could use your hands somehow, in a kind of throw-in motion, like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him. He's Mr. Dubois.
What an odd demonstration of... you got me, Harry. I don't even know what. As entertain...
Okay, enough. We are here to...
Quick, here's your window. Get yourself together and ask him questions. Police officer questions.
of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez. I know everything that goes on around here. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging. I mean, if we could...
Yes, that sounds good. Let's...
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines. Incredibly talented at opening doors.
I'm not sure I understand. If you're asking...
Come now. I just need you to go open a little door for me and leave it unlocked. A simple thing. Absolutely nothing shady about it. Oh, no one's. It's just a weasel. A weasel lives there. Harry, I'm a very busy man, and more importantly, I don't have that extraordinary physique you do.
You want to send someone a message that the police...
I repeat, I'm a very, very busy man, Mr. Kitsuragi, and therefore I must occasionally enlist outside help. So what will it be, Harry? A loud blabbering weasel. When weasels feel no... Just go there, unlock the door, and leave it open. It's been such a burden on me, Harry. I just want this to be over so I can discuss business with you. Of course, Harry, I understand. But if that's the case, I don't think perhaps this was just bad timing for you. Know that you can always...
Yes, we both understand.
This may be the only way, he thinks. I won't hold it against you. In fact, we probably should reconsider later.
Of course. Let us dispatch with the formalities. You call me...
That's what the hanged corpse called you. Harry.
My God, so it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but you are a fantastic science fiction...
I think the odds of that are very low.
So good to hear that, Harry. Apparently my sources were wrong. However, if you did have a spot of memory trouble, I could help you out.
Words flow like a river of honey from his lip. It's just a brown folder. You can't make out what's written on it.
Are you trying to tell me you've gotten hold of some of our documents?
Mr. Kitsuragi, would you mind? Me and Harry are talking about his lost identity right now. Of course, Harry, of course. Let's not linger on personal details and amnesia. You wanted something from me. My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbor. I couldn't possibly... I rarely do, Harry. I have people for that. Now, you were saying... Oh, that's very nice. I haven't gotten around to her yet. I'm very... One thing I want to make very clear, Harry, is that this is not some kind of union... Yes, we're all trying to do what's best for Martinez. Don't feel like you shouldn't work with her just because you and I are such good friends. I'm not a jealous guy. What do you mean, Harry? Nothing. I let him go. He's an old man, Harry. I wanted him to spend more time with his family. God knows how long he's got left. Harry! I have little people in my organization. Honestly, I'm beginning to think you're a midget, Harry. I'm only kidding, Harry.
It's hard to say if he really lost his temper, or if this is another one of his tricks. This man almost never angers visibly.
If she actually wants to see me, she will find a way. Any good negotiator would. And I just don't have anything to discuss with a bad negotiator. Of course, Harry. Let me just assure you one more time. I have no interest in what she is doing, but I myself have nothing to hide. Your business is your business, and I respect your privacy. Just remember, none of this is... Tell her about all of it. My brother's picture, my singing swordfish clock. Tell her how overweight I am and how I'm helping you find your lost...
It is rather interesting to tell people things about it. This is weird. Not nice weird, but okay.
Yes, your lost gun. My best men are on it. Your gun will be found, Harry. Let me assure...
The only way to find it seems to be working with him. He might even be holding your gun hostage. Who knows? Only one thing is certain. If you work with him, you're going to get it back. And working with him might be the only way to do it.
Harry! I was only trying to be... Kids could be playing gun roulette with it as we speak. Teenage gangs could be arming themselves. Get a hold...
I assure you, we are working on locating the missing set.
Excellent, Mr. Kitsuragi. That's excellent news. Looks like we have a friendly gun-finding competition on our hands. Let's hear it, Harry. It's Harry. Harry Dubois.
You don't feel like either one of these things. You know what your name is. You have a sophisticated name, like that of a count, or a beautiful man.
And I can work with you, Harry. Now, what else can I do for you? Harry, you're not simply a cop, you're a star. A bright shining star in the drab law enforcement sky, outshining all other stars. You're a superstar. Of course I do, Harry. And I'm gonna help you shine. I'm gonna put you on all...
He's probably just making a guess based on your recent activity in Martinez.
Family? Harry, you're not a family man. There's not one peep of family in here. Unless you think you're a family man. Do you strike yourself as a family man, Harry? That's why I like you, Harry. A good man knows both his strengths and his weaknesses, and you, my friend, you are one of the all-time greats.
As you look at the folder, Everard covers it with his hand and pets it. He's hiding it from you because it's not a...
Okay, Harry, you got me. This is from the Census Bureau, not the RCM. Those Census Bureau...
He got the name from the Census Bureau, and everything else from your actions here in Martinez.
Yes, Mr. Kitsuragi, from the Census Bureau, like I said.
That means he doesn't really know anything. A pity. The mystery of you will have to remain a...
Yes, that's what I said. Try to keep up, okay? Let's move on. Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate. Here, you're one of us now. A real red and white.
Advanced race theory. Everything is calm in the eye of the race storm. Your mind is lucid and bright. The mind-bending phylogenetics appear more distant and, to be fair, a little ridiculous. The great race mystery has cleared up. All that's left to do is... before the cargo container. It's... Why are you even trying to open a door with rhetoric?
Because what wasn't an option? Now is not the time to get philosophical, detective. You can do that after hours.
The file cabinet stands steady as ever, and the unlocked drawer, slide.
Promising race pupil return and... Everyone can see that. It has little to do with the race enigma.
Baby, don't be mean. Give him another chance.
Anything for you, babe. Look, babe. The minion of law is also a racist, but his racism is basic and rote.
So unadvanced.
The basic race education he received in high school has led him to think his phylum are the sole authors of race theory. An esoteric study reaching back. You could have used this opportunity to overcome your narrow Al-Ghul that take solace from the fact that these thoughts will never entirely leave your brain. They will be with you.
Damn, Jean. How are you so romantic?
The unpromising race pupil returns. There is nothing funky about them. I cannot possibly imagine what else we have to discuss, Tibere Vasholian. Your love for disco music? Racists are generally not very good examples of their race.
Welcome to Revachol. You hear it?
I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have taken the trouble to permanently draw a phrenologic grid on my skull and features. This should dispel any doubt. You exhibit forward projection of the jaw, indicative of schizophrenia and sexual inaccountability. From a purely aesthetic standpoint, the dimple in your jaw makes it is impossible to see any more of your bone structure. It is covered in the ravages. This leads me to conclude you are not a police officer. You are a common criminal. Your racial heritage is uninteresting. It is the same as all Revacholians.
He's right there. It's almost impossible to get it on unless you're both drunk. It's too scary when people are sober.
The unpromising race pupil.
Bastard! Hold up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops are here.
You here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down. We're here to fight for a cause. Stripes usually have problems with people who have causes. Good. We're fighting for a cause here.
Right, too!
Besides, we're not that different. It helps if people see us talking, cops and strikebreakers together. Shows authorities are on our rights of people, rights of workers, to have gainful employment, to make a salary, and feed their families. Maybe you should ask them the questions, like why we're not allowed to make a living here. We have families to feed, you piece of shit.
So do we, Scab.
Honest men and women, with rights, to work, to be useful, not...
We came here to help the harbor run smoothly in time of crisis. If you...
I have a question. Why do all these men...
You think they follow because I'm big and loud? No. They follow the rules of the market, the rules of the economy, because they were. We were promised work. We'd be in there, working, if the bastards hadn't shut the...
Main gate's locked. Would take heavy ordnance to bust it open. Could try to get in through the secretary's office. Door's locked. And I don't mean the scrawny mess punk either. I mean head measurer. Or whatever he is. Yeah? That giant up there, on the bridge you talked to. Head measurer. Bad. Standing on a narrow bridge, he's got a strategically advantageous...
I don't know how the Union has a trained killer up there. But that one's no joke, and my men are tired and hungry. They're workers, not fighters.
Why don't you go arrest them?
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home. At least...
No! They will give up eventually. Or get drunk. Leave the button unguarded. Then we charge.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is well kept for such a... The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings, stickers. The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of... A large metal pendant hangs from the rear view mirror. The pendant features a sun... The back end of the cabin has a small perch to sleep. Large ashtrays.
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy. Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is.
There he is, in front of Rita, smoking nervously. He was acting tough before. This probably scared him a bit. Who knows when it will come in handy? A slightly scared, racist lorryman.
You escape now? I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop for less money. Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the wild north? Sure thing, my friend. I can help you out.
The coin lands into your hand as if it has always belonged there.
Always glad to help out the RCM. Shame I can't do more. Things are, you know, the winter's fat is slowly running out and all. Still better than scabbing, though. Nothing to worry about, really. The jam's a bit of a mess, cargo can't get in or out. The rationing is a bit stricter is all. Supplies should last the strike, though. Aye, you lost me there, Honcho. But it's okay as long as you're not a sorry-ass scab. The mercenary, eh? Who could have killed him? That's indeed the question. Why even do such a thing? What a thought! Why would noble workers resort to such a thing? Your dead guy was an enemy combatant. He was an agent of the opposition, attempting to undermine us. I ain't the murdering type, but that's just me. Large organizations like our union have all sorts of men.
He means a more violent faction.
Understood. This has been of limited use.
No problem. I wish the best to you in your search. Sure, I'm glad it's not my search.
Yes?
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, Rene Arnaud.
Is this about the questions again? Wow. I didn't know you worked for the Union, sir. Anything else
That was easy. Worryingly so. Blow the whole thing on speed and gin. Right now. Speed and...
I don't really know anything. I mean, I know it's there, but I haven't seen it. Not really. No. I didn't know him at all. Uh-huh.
Can I help you? Yes, have you got it? A lot. A lot. For the room, drinks, and broken window. Yes. What thing? Yes, not the whole damn union, thank God. Just the They come here in the evenings. Dumb, unruly types. Think they're big shit. But they're good customers.
We should find out who this Lord faction is, occupying the booth. Loudness means talkative, and we need info. We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later. Man.
You glance at the clock on the wall behind the manager. Huh.
Good question.
They're probably getting drunk or protesting something somewhere. Or laying low after the, they probably fucking killed that guy.
I have a feeling we'll make their acquaintance sooner or later.
What?
By the way, you should come back to this thing-based questionnaire if you see anything interesting in the whirling later.
Another thing. Great. Yes?
A thin man is smoking below an exhaust hood, occasionally sipping. As you step in, he nods toward the table and says something in a completely... It must be his name. Garanci. Garanci Quebec. Sounds representative. The man puts his cup down and replies something, his left hand drawing arcs in the air. He smiles and bangs his... It's almost like music, especially with the sounds of a sword. You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimpled lock. It's painted blue.
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads?
The door stands silent, unmoved by... that sugary black rum stain.
Wait, what? I was just sleeping. What do you want, officer? Yeah, what about it? You know, people die here every day. If someone has decided to die on top of a tree, then I can tell you this. You heard what I said. Draw your own...
The lieutenant gives you a little nod. So Union people think he was a killer, he thinks. Even sleepy hair. This doesn't help a lot, but it's something. Good work.
Thank God, no.
The worker stares at you, his eyes dry.
I don't know what you're talking about, kind sir. But when I'm out, then I'm really out. No malt grains or whatever, no poetry stuff, just quality time. They got it. Majorette's got it. He's guarding the gate. Or just getting some sleep. Or was.
The dock worker doesn't answer. His head. The worker is in a deep...
Hello again, sweetie. Oh, sweetie, I heard your conversation with the manager about your financial troubles. When do you get your next paycheck?
You must be joking. Although...
It's not easy to assert your right to a decent living wage when you don't have a strong union behind you.
Already did that. Everart's money wasn't gonna last forever. You need more. Every day is a new expense.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry I don't have money for you. If there's anything else... Yes, dear.
A paraplegic is someone with limited or no ability to use the lower half of their body. Paraplegia is caused by spinal cord injuries.
That's quite all right. I'm used to people asking questions. I know they're thinking about it anyway. Whatever do you mean? Sequence killers? Oh my.
A partner who needs you to get back to helping the people of Martinez. I can assure you with absolute certainty, there are no sequence killings taking place in Martinez.
Now, gentlemen, no need to squabble. I wouldn't be of much use to you anyway, sweetie. Thank you, but Martinez isn't the most wheelchair-accessible place. Perhaps another time. Hello again, sweetie.
The door is closed. This door can only be opened. Still no answer. Still nothing. The lieutenant gives... You should punch a fucking hole in it. The murmur in your ears recedes slowly. Your breathing... The bed is cold and not particularly inviting. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. It's barely covered in steam anymore. It's your face in the mirror, adorned with the expression. The door is closed. Still, the lieutenant gives... You should punch a fucking hole in it. The murmur in your...
Can I help you? Do I have a shaker in my hand?
It's not a shaker. It's nothing. He's holding nothing.
Am I wearing a little bow tie? Am I smiling? Do you see me smiling and shaking my little shaker? No. Do you know why? Because I'm not a bartender.
Play it calm. This man needs to understand you need a drink to help the community deal with police stuff.
Oh, well, in that case, let me pour you a nice, big, refreshing marinella. Do you want that out of a glass or a pineapple? Don't be an imbecile. I'm not going to serve you a marinella. I have work to do and broken things to fix. If that was all, I'd like to return. Another thing. Great. I love those. Oh, yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. And I don't care either. It's not like I've been or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust.
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing.
Fine, okay, a little. But my job doesn't leave me time for wondering. So, I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over, though, after the animals. And I haven't found a key, so good luck with that. Yes?
An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center. A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by an endless variety of source books, lore books. There's also a large hardbound tome with intricate cover art, The Hunters of Cataway. Books in a board game section? Who wants to read books? There's a box that says Wirral 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplements Module. The side panel notes, a fantastique adventure board game, new maps and miniatures.
Wonderful board games, sir. The Viticulturist is a classic. Raubritter is a fun game of economic competition, but can get quite intense after a while. We have games for the whole family. You can play with your children. Don't be so hard on yourself, sir. You just need to clean up a bit. And technically, friends are a bit like... For playing with friends, I'd recommend Suzerainty. It's a civilization building game where you build a civilization, then set off to brutally colonize and repress other civilizations.
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Seminese trinkets and charms. It appears a heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Seminese trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked. Ow, shoot. Whose moronic idea was it to just run through the door? Don't you know that things like that hurt?
Are you alright? This looked...
What is going on there? Are you really... I warn you, don't tempt the spirits, officer. Don't tempt the spirits, or you'll...
It barely looks like you've done any damage to the door, however. It's still locked and closed, covered in dozens of little charms and trinkets. Only an echo, a hollowed-out dark. Only an echo, a hollow... These shelves are overburdened with books from the... A couple of spook novels hide amidst all the detective books. Thrilling tales of spycraft. Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden in... The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol.
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. The other two are not. They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though. That old thing. It's an out-of-date map from when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago. They also renovated the horse statue, set up those coin... They didn't get that far, for some reason. A shame the project never got going. Would be nice if someone fixed Martinez up. All these ruins are bad. Always good to be informed of your surroundings.
The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately... Your finger moves through the various streets. Across, finally, coming to a halt on the spot where you are.
For a more detailed view of the map, go to your journal.
This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature.
Sir, please, no browsing in that. I can't have you end up, like, opening a police store next door and stealing my customers. Oh no!
Amidst the various books, you find one written by someone named Matthias. The point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice in situations. Various paranatural books. A sturdy metal door guards the south. This could be a way into the apartment building. The door rattles against your knuckles. The door rattles again, but this time...
Stop banging on the door! I'm not letting any more strangers inside. Doesn't matter who I am.
From within comes the faint sound of a broom.
The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here. No, I already go check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will.
Backyard door. With the smoker. You already were there. Didn't work.
Madame, I assure you.
There is no reply. Just faint sweeping.
Good. We had enough problems with bums and drunks and thieves loitering in the hallway. You have no business here.
You're well versed in the kind of threatening legalese that implies criminal liability, but in fact has no meaning whatsoever.
I know my rights, and don't you mind.
But the sweeping on the other side.
Miss, would it help if we offer to show you our...
Hold your horses. I don't care about your stinking badge. Just come.
Give me a moment. The cold never does any good for my bronchitis. I already told you I don't care about any badges. I'm fine. Fine. Don't you worry about me. Now, what do you...
She's the cleaning lady. She knows the floor plan and the residence.
Oh, you'll find plenty of Martins here. Don't you worry. Pea-brain. Someone played a trick on you. Martinez is a name for...
Oops. You really didn't.
I thought it was obvious. Anyway, officer, we don't have the witness's name.
Yes. I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's always smoking like the devil.
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying. You hear a...
What's he in trouble for? Talk? He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony. It's one of those doors there.
Thank you. We should go check out his apartment on the balcony. See if he's home.
Ask away, policeman. The artiste? Nothing I can do about her, I'm afraid. She ruins the walls faster than I can clean. She leaves an old lady to her business. More than I can say for others.
She mumbles some kind of a response, then hacks something into... The pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look cool, calm, and collected. Hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricots. A crinkled chewing gum wrapper. The worn label reads, Tutti Frutti. It smells faintly of apricots, with a barely noticeable twinge of cinnamon. Good question. There is no answer or secret phrase written on, drawn by regret. Stop before you hurt yourself with a Tutti Frutti wrapper. Throw it away. You carefully fold the wrapper into a square before putting it back into your...
Ooh, the piggies have learned how to saunter up staircases. I didn't think you could do that with hooves. But here you are. Yes, Uncle Maynard, huge trouble. You're gonna take out your metal detector and you collect...
That smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint. It's heavy fuel oil.
Ooh, not only have you found...
She does have eyes that seem to be smeared with coal.
Does anyone in a city like this? It doesn't have to do anything at all. Nothing does. Like me. Right now. Yes. I keep hoping a shaft will collapse on me. Shoot, Piggy. It's what you do.
Red-dyed heavy fuel oil, intended for exclusive use in government vehicles, to be precise.
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? Sucked it out of a cop's fuel tank myself. Back in Jamrock. Something to think about next time you're driving around in your pretty little piggy carriage. Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
The lieutenant, hatred, the woman on...
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her. On a first-name basis with her, are we? Piggy's moving up in the world. Have you got a crush on her? Aching for an opportunity to defend her honor.
This door has been closed with a padlock. You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. That isn't just a five-pointed star. It's an inverted white pentagram cradled in a wreath.
I'll keep my armistice handy.
He doesn't actually reach for his gun. The Star and Antlers was developed in the 6th decade of the law. Even today, half a century after, the Star and Antlers retains the ability to evoke hope, disappointment, nothing at all yet. Right? This door is made of metal and appears to be number 28. This is where the cleaning...
Let's see if anyone's home.
No one answers.
Looks like the young man we are looking for isn't home. I think our best chance to catch him is in the evening. We should return tomorrow after we have finished with our day's work. How about 9 p.m.? Sound good? Tomorrow, 9 p.m., right here. Apartment number 20.
Damn. Turns out it's quite tricky finding someone in a big... Remember, tomorrow. He's probably gone for today. This door is made of metal.
Trying to sneak up on me?
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here. Yeah, why?
Why must we stop to look at this wall every time we pass by? We have business.
Just an ordinary wall. This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle while looking inside. Then use the focus.
shame. Whining about your back every time you bring...
René, you're a man with a fork in a world of soup. Please, let's just try to enjoy the game, alright?
I'm trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration. You're all...
These manly men are playing balls. This is a ball game. Grab a ball and play it. Don't ask. No, you got this. There's the ball. You're the game. You are immediately surprised by the ball's lack of weight. No matter. You make God. This is right. You feel the familiar tremble of excitement and adrenaline that precedes every victory. Time has frozen. The cold metal ball is surprisingly smooth against your neck. It has a pattern on it, probably a sponsored ball. Yours would only be covered with bumps. Already your muscles are adjusting to the weight, the nervous system calibrating, until you and the ball have merged into a single entity. The man ball is ready. A chilly breeze ruffles your hair as you stand there, feet firmly planted. All sounds, smells, even the wind, everything fades until the only thing left is an embodiment of pure motion, a fine-tuned locomotor running at maximum efficiency.
Merde! Bordel de merde!
It wasn't mid. The shot was at least 23 meters, probably 24 and then some.
What the hell is your problem? I don't care if you are a cop. You do not just ruin someone's game. It's so goddamn disrespectful. You vandalized our game, son. We can't play pétanque with 5 pool. Yes, pétanque. You ruined our pétanque game. We want our bull back.
Take it easy, René. This is just a misunderstanding.
Of course there's harm done, you orange slug. You owe us a goddamn bull. Good. Mistakes are forgiven, when men at least try to right their wrongs. I believe you will try. Now why did you approach us? Yes, the Debardeurs Union pays me to stand vigil during the nights. Not out of any I'm an old man. Don't sleep more than a few hours every night anyway, and money is tight. She is nobody. This is none of your concern.
The lady is Jeanne-Marie Beaulieu, and she sure as hell wasn't a nobody.
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, I wasn't working that night. Been on a 2-week leave since last Monday. No one. The bus has been unmanned since last Monday.
No one has been guarding the container.
Yes, It's not actually an issue.
Look, officers. The container yard doesn't actually need a guardsman. Never had one before René. Monsieur Claire had that booth built specially for him. It's mostly decorative.
The possibility of someone being in there is enough to discourage any ill-minded individuals.
Evrard created this job for René because he knows the Royal Carabinier's pension of honor and PTSD isn't something a man can live off. A decorated Kingsman collecting tear reflects bad on the whole neighborhood. His words.
Look, officer, can we conclude the topic of my guard booth now? Yes, like I said, it would be up anyway, so might as well keep an eye out. It keeps my senses sharp. Unfortunately, I don't. Unlike most of the locals, I have no qualms about assisting law enforcement, but this affair has passed me by completely. In Martinez, the union is the law, so can you really blame them? Cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen. If I knew, I would not be afraid to tell you. I simply don't. I'm an old man, not a coward. The daily business of the riffraff no longer concerns me. Yes, the terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game. Yes, it was left by heavy artillery fire. Why what? Because that's what happens when communards hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home. Commies, communists, socialists, anarchists, call them what you like. They just chose the name to feel special. Senseless sentimentality. Sadly, no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly. Too valiantly. So valiantly we got licked. Should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't though, and we lacked caliber. God bless him, but the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough. This place is a damn beachhead, son. They didn't do it because they didn't like it. They had to soften the... Yes. The military coordinated amphibious landing to take Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during Operation Deathblow in 08. The other 2 are off in Stella Maris and the Delta. This here is Blood Ground, where Coalition boots first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely, we're playing pétanque on their mangled corpses.
Blood ground. You got old René going there. Like he isn't hungry enough already.
Don't get me wrong, officer. I hate those foreign dogs, but the enemy of my enemy and all that. They're the lesser evil. Damn right, son. They laid the fire of hell on the city before they stormed it. And it worked, too.
He approves of this radical approach, knows it was
The rest of the city got cleaned up, but not the Nez they keep as a monument. And now the Union Socialists are practically running the place.
Well, it's your own damn fault. You, we, the Coalition, Revachol, whoever you want to blame, never finish.
You don't even begin to truly understand the players at the table, let alone the specific circle.
Thinking men have opinions on these things. Present one.
I'm just so damn sorry it had to be the Coalition. After 8 years of fighting those hyenas, boiling cats for food and drinking piss in the mountains, I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned through Revachol, or even if that damn clown. Instead, all that is just, holy, and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and now it's neon signs with... This is just what the commies wanted. This was their plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the role of the suzerain with. The suzerain is the king! Has everyone forgot? It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's balls when it happened. When we took our last stand against the filth and rode the cavalry straight into gunfire.
This trash container is locked. The sliding lid has a padlock that says, whirling. Just a trash container. Your fingers start to itch just looking at that pad.
We could try using a pry bar, the one you took from my motor carriage, or... We might want to ask for a key from the manager of the Whirling in Rags. He probably has one. And he also has information.
Can I help you? Mine? No, it belongs to the Whirling in Rags.
Thank you for clearing that up. Why do you...
Why? To keep the hobos and drunks out. That's why.
I thought as much. And are you the only...
Well, yes. Us and...
It seems a little callous, doesn't it? Something stirs in you. Prod at him and find out.
What do you need them for?
It concerns the case. Please cooperate.
Just bring them back once you're done, please.
This trash container is locked with a well-oiled crack. Don't. Maybe you shouldn't. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
It's just organic waste, cold and slimy on your hands. What's this? A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. Something larger. A clipboard. A blue plastic clipboard with moist papers hanging from it. They look badly damaged, but you can still...
Officer, is that your paperwork? Yes, it is. Look. This plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form. If you don't mind me asking, how did this get in the trash? Boring. Try dangerous. You should do a thorough inventory of that. Be sure some has not fallen into the hands of the RCM's enemies, organized crime or worse. Official notes sometimes contain informants' names. It would also not hurt to start taking notes on the case. Now, tell me what your eagle eyes see.
Some items, such as the ledger you found, are interactable. Go to your inventory and select the...
You see milk and egg rest with one broken egg in it. You've done this before. The movements are recorded in your elbows, the methodology in your fingers. You're used to this. No, searching for evidence in... A box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal. There are plastic pasta packages below. Among the threadbare kitchen towels, something catches your eye. As the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the garbage, a rank corpse...
The victim's clothes? Cadaverine odor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, drop them in here, officer. Guitar marked blue jeans. Pockets empty or emptied. He wore them with a belt, too. A white belt. The belt is missing. That's it. Do you see anything else in there? I have another bag here.
Something slimy catches your eye. A drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive-colored, appears from the food waste, dripping with pus.
This is a military-type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of rib-knit shirt that's worn over...
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. A yellow old mug that catches your eye. But...
All right. We should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or that one. I'd advise against confronting that force.
The lieutenant nods. Then, you pick out a broken mug with an oddly racist depiction of the yellow man frolicking in saffron. Only in its social sensibility.
Mm-hmm.
The container sounds a muffled gong.
That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all.
It's just a racist mug. What's there to read here? It's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. There's a piece of toilet paper, or is it cleaning tissue? No, it's a metaphor for you. The acidic stench of rotting food is rubbed off on the cellulose. It now forms the base of the experience. This base surrounded by a faint air of, you know, like the bits they put into public piss bowls. Probably called Fermi Discrete, or Axel, or something. At some point in its journey, your nose does not understand what it did wrong.
Fuck does Kuno care? The fuck do you want with it? Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno about his kingdom.
He's on your crime scene, bossing you around. And he's been here for some time too. This is where he hangs out. You have to get more out of him. He could be useful.
Trying to fuck at the Kuno! Trying to fuck at me! Trying to fuck! Kuno only gets higher! It's faster, faster, faster!
Kuno gonna fuck you up! Up!
Normal is not what we got here. You've got to work with what you have for now.
Kuno doesn't